There are a lot of Canadians who work with financial advisors, and many of those relationships are awesome. Some are terrible, and some are like kind of meh. So today we're going to talk about how to know if it's time to break up with your financial advisor. And if the answer is yes, how do you actually go about doing that? Our guest is Lesley-Anne Scorgie, personal finance columnist at Toronto Star and the founder of MeVest. Hello there.
Hello, what a great topic.
This is a relationship that can be amazing. It can also be fraught. Like people develop friendships with their financial advisor that they don't develop with their mechanic, for example. What do you think makes this relationship special, both to the pro and to the con if you're trying to get out of it?
Well, it's very intimate because everything to do with your finances is so deeply personal. No wonder when the conversations happen between advisor and client, they are sometimes highly private conversations. Things that come up in that arena are things like family planning,
Mm.
trips, changes to marital status, even what the goals are for the household. Anything can come up. And a great financial advisor is there to be that sounding board. So it is no surprise that you're seeing people either, really get quite sticky with their advisor. So
Mm.
they're, in a very good and healthy, highly communicative relationship with them. And sometimes it doesn't go so well. And if you haven't heard from that advisor for quite some time, that might be a sign that, things aren't going so well. Or if in one of those like intimate meetings where things are shared about your personal goals and you're getting the vibe that this person, this advisor is just not picking it up or
Mm.
not respecting your preferences, or frankly, just not listening to you,
Yeah.
that is the sign that you need to cut ties.
And a lot of people have a hard time having those conversations. They feel uncomfortable, they lack self confidence, all those things. So, certainly communication. One other area in which there can be real questions about the effectiveness of your advisor is with to do with results. And
Mm.
in particular, comparing the results that you're getting on your portfolio over long periods of time versus the relevant benchmark indices. Talk a bit about the importance of that due diligence, making that comparison.
And I'll add one more piece to that, right? Your due diligence includes like, does this advisor actually have the qualifications to be helping you in the first place?
Right.
But then we get into the performance piece, and this is a tricky one because heading into 2026, we've had some pretty good uptake in the market. And yes, there has been volatility. Good advisors would have been calling their clients about this volatility. They would have been talking about results. I always guide people to look at the long term. So
Yeah.
that's the 7 year plus long term I'm referring to. I'm not talking about the past 12 months or even
Right.
24 months. It's a much longer time frame that we need to look at how effective their performance is. And you have to be brave enough to compare this yourself against what the market index is going at, and frankly, what the leading ETFs are going after when
Yeah.
it comes to results. Because what we want in an advisor relationship is performance. We want connection. We
Yeah.
want them to understand our comfort level with risk. We want them to be putting down results that help us
Yeah.
get wealthier. And this
Yeah.
is the tricky bit. Over time, as we've seen some advisors, I would say, my opinion, come up out of the sand and go, wow, people are way more informed. They're getting their information from social media. They're getting their information and comparing it on sites like Morningstar to the going leading ETFs. And they're coming back and they're calling their advisor and saying, why am I investing this when I could have just bought XYZ,
Right.
whatever it is. Not the name of any
Yeah.
ETF, by the way. I
Yeah.
just want to be clear.
Yeah.
But they're calling their advisor and they're saying, I would like to know how your results are lining up to the market and to these leading ETFs, even to mutual funds.
Yeah.
And this is good. I always encourage people to also have their advisors prepare what it's called a total household roll-up performance report. I know that that's a mouthful.
That's a very
Yeah,
long phrase.
it's a very long phrase, but it's actually what you should write that down.
Mm,
You will want to ask your advisor for this because it should render back to you a report that shows your entire household of accounts. So it could be RSPs, TFSAs, RESPs all together.
yeah,
And then it has this fantastic table that includes results across the year, 2, 3,
yeah,
5, 7, 10, and since inception. And so we always like to encourage look at that 7+ year time
yeah,
horizon. And if that is at least on the market performance or better, we're
yeah,
in the green zone.
yeah.
If it's
It's
not there, we're in the red zone.
I have been talking about, sure, you've been talking about this for 15 years, the importance of relative performance, because especially as the stock market rises, it's easier to say, well, my advisor's doing a great job because I'm up 10%. Well, sure, unless the market's up 15%, and then you're actually
Mhm.
not doing very well. Just very briefly, the fee component is a critical thing. If someone's in a commission based relationship with a management expense ratio of 2.3%, it is going to be harder for that financial advisor to meet the benchmark. Yes?
Exactly. And I know you've probably seen this because I certainly have seen it in my work, but you're seeing a lot of advisors and institutions right now actually lowering their fees to
Yeah.
match the robo advisors or even comes like relatively close to that because they have realized they can't compete. There's
Yeah.
too many people leaving them over the fee structure. The fees being 2 and sometimes higher percent for, effectively, I think questions from clients would have been like, are you actually earning this fee? So here's what I'm going to say is you are right. So some fees are worth it for people who have achieved results. They have the relationship, they have the
Mm.
planning component. Maybe they are also in one of the higher tier services and they're getting things like estate planning and financial planning services. So this can be a big help. But
Yeah.
sometimes people aren't maximizing the value of their services, and that fee that they're paying can be, I don't want to say a waste, but it can be just too much and not enough value.
Yeah.
And it's like that double whammy. If you
Yeah.
do not get the performance and you're paying too much in a fee, oh my goodness. Now that's
Yeah.
the
You need to make sure you're getting what you pay for. So,
yes.
the three buckets: communication, performance, maybe an inability to think holistically about your money. So, those would be things that people would say, oh, it's time to break it up. What does the conversation sound like? Because this is the thing for people. It's like they're terrified. They would have no issue firing an employee or firing a contractor. But when it comes to breaking up with a financial advisor, they have a hard time even finding the words. So give them some words.
Oh, it's so tricky. But I think you start with, I don't know that this is the right place for me and that you are the right person for me and my money going forward. My money, my plan, it's too important to not feel settled with you. So I'm going to make a change. And I know, maybe we've been together for a long time. Maybe it's a short period of time. Who knows? But this is the right thing for me. Doesn't it sound like a familiar conversation when you were breaking up with your high
Yes,
school
except for you have
partner,
to add the
right?
phrase, it's not you, it's
It's
me.
not
I
you,
just
it's
need some
me.
space. I need some space. So there's the conversation to be had. Talk a bit about the logistics because the thought of someone breaking up with their bank, like all of the people, this is why people don't leave their banks because it just is so overwhelming. The idea of switching that. Switching financial advisors logistically is actually much simpler than breaking
Mhm.
up with your bank. Tell us how that works.
So if you're working to move to another advisor, it's very simple. They will actually understand what you currently have today, and they will be able to initiate transfers of all of the accounts and the funds within those accounts automatically. You just have to sign on the dotted line. It's pretty
Yeah. It's
straightforward.
a pull phenomenon. Like the new
Yes.
firm will pull the assets in. Now, there could be some complexity depending on what products you're in. How does that work? What should people be aware of
Exactly.
on that front?
So just be mindful that some particular products need to be sold, some can be transferred in kind, and you will learn about this as the new advisor reviews what you have. And it's on them. The new advisor will do some due diligence and actually communicate with whom they're going to be getting the transfers from to understand how the funds and the particular assets need to transfer. They're going to call you. A good person will say, here's what I have uncovered. Sometimes there are also fees for transferring, and you may find at the new institution that they would be willing to cover some of those fees. All of these pieces are going to be disclosed to you in this process. You'll find also, because you're seeing a lot of this as people move from advisors and into like robo advisor relationships. I think of like Nest Wealth, Wealth Simple, Quest Trade, some of those types of robo advisor managed relationships. And they have a very similar pull system.
Mm,
And they also have those same flags. Watch out. There are
yeah.
sometimes fees. How would you like us to transfer it? Which is a tricky question, by the way, when you're dealing with a robo-advisor, because some people don't understand what they even have to begin with in their
Yeah.
portfolio. So they
Yeah.
might not really know that they might be triggering a sale or not. Here's what I would also advise. Be very careful. Whenever you are transferring money between institutions, between advisors, TFSAs need to go into TFSAs. RSPs
Right.
need to go into RSPs. RESPs into RESPs. The first home savers account, same. What you don't want to do is accidentally, by accident, like sell all of the assets within those registered accounts and then go to open them on the other side and realize, oh my goodness,
I just
actually,
triggered
you
major
got it.
income tax.
Yeah, major
Yeah.
income
Yeah.
tax implications.
One last word. A lot of people will hear this and feel like, oh, this resonates. I kind of need to take this step. What is your call to action? Why is this worth it?
It's so worth it because if you have a great advisor relationship, the person's going to be with you. They're going to be committed to helping you grow wealth. What we find when people are really uncomfortable with their advisor, they're more likely to not call them, to not talk strategy, to not have them in their inner circle. And that can actually be damaging for your net worth long term. One more thing I'll say though is if you've got this feeling in your gut and you just don't like the person, that is your cue.
Right.
It's okay to not like them and to end the relationship because if you like somebody, that's the goal is that you like them, you can work with them, you are going to call them, they are going to call you. You will be able to craft a very good plan for your money.
Sometimes breaking up is the right thing to do.
Exactly.
Lesley-Anne, thank you so much. I will not break up with you, and I hope you will not break up with me.
We're still
Lesley-Anne
together,
Scorgie.
Bruce. We're
That's it.
still
We're still
together.
together. We're still together. Lesley-Anne Scorgie, personal finance columnist of the Toronto Star and also the founder of MeVest, was here to talk about how to know when it's time to break up with your financial advisor and if it feels like the time is right. How do you go about doing that, both the communication and the logistics?